The government spokesman, Cyrus Oguna, says Kenyans should stop whining over the high taxation, especially over oil products, and get to work helping the government to make money. Now, that is a strange statement. The strangest of statements. Because everybody knows that the climate environment that has been created by the government has made it very difficult for Kenyans to make ends meet, let alone to generate enough to increase revenue to the government through taxation and so on and so forth. And economists will tell you that high taxes are not the way to go when one wants to boost an economy. And yet the government had no choice. But what are the political implications of this latest development that has shocked Kenyans? That is what my show today is about. And what about the fact that some of the most prominent politicians in Kenya today made a major contribution, negative one, to the problems we face today. And all the evidence is in the public domain. A very warm welcome to my show, and enjoy. Even as Kenyans are struggling with their lives, yet another shocker landed on their laps a few days ago. Petrol prices shot up. In fact, the current prices of petrol in Kenya are at a 9-year high. In other words, prices have not been this high for almost 10 years. Now, let us break down this very crazy situation, I believe unprecedented, that the country finds itself in. I'll explain in a minute why I believe it is unprecedented. And to understand why, we have to look at this from both sides of the coin. It is no secret that the government of Kenya is very seriously cash-strapped. Now I urge you to hear me out before you rush out and say Kumekucha is supporting the government. Because I've noticed that these days, many of us use the introduction of anything to make a conclusion. And yet I believe most of us come here for something a little more in-depth. And the government needs money to run the country. Now, it is also true that taxing petrol is one of the easiest ways of collecting revenue quickly and consistently. I believe it is also very easy to make very accurate projections of the kind of revenue the government will collect over any period of time. Things are not exactly the same when the government needs to collect revenue and decides to tax another sector. Petrol is unique. If I may put it bluntly, it is easy money for the government. By observing the price of petrol in the two other East African countries, our neighboring countries, Uganda and Tanzania, one will quickly note that those governments also rely heavily on taxing oil products. although their prices are still lower than ours. That is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that Kenyans are hurting. That is a fact. Many are out of a job. Many businesses have closed. Because of the effects of the pandemic, many businesses are operating at a fraction of their capacity. And that has a very damaging ripple effect right across the board. Many economists believe that the recent increase in petrol prices will make things a lot worse for a vast majority of Kenyans. Because an increase in petrol prices means an increase for virtually everything. Yeah, because you need to transport goods to the market, whatever goods you're talking about. And ultimately, you will need to fuel some sort of vehicle to get those goods to the end users. Now, the biggest problem here is that the government's money problems have not entirely been caused by unavoidable circumstances, like the pandemic of 2020, or rather which started in 2020. At least the economic effects. For instance, one of the issues really straining the government cash-wise is the repayment of loans. Loans for projects, for instance, that were supposed to generate enough income to pay for themselves. And a good example here is the SGR. And we know, it's a matter of public record, who benefited the most from the SGR project. Because you will remember that in the run-up to the 2017 controversial presidential elections, billionaire Jimmy Wanjigi switched sides from supporting Jubilee, whom he had supported in 2013, to supporting NASA and Raila Odinga. And we were told by insiders that one of the main reasons why he made this decision was because the SGR project, which was almost a done deal involving him, was at the last minute switched by Deputy President William Samoei Ruto to other Kenyans, prominent personalities from the Rift Valley. It is also a matter of public record that the cost of the SGR was greatly inflated and indeed exaggerated. What that means is that the extra money must have gone into some pockets. If a pair of scissors costs 10 shillings and you end up paying 200 shillings for it, it is obvious that after the purchase of that pair of scissors for 10 shillings, the other 190 Kenya shillings went into somebody's pocket. And naturally, concerning the SGR, those people who are calling the shots over the project are the ones who know where the inflated cost of this line that was initially supposed to reach Busia, but only reached Nairobi. Those are the only people who can tell Kenyans where most of the money went. That is a fact. And while we know the Deputy President is no longer influential within the Kenyan government, there is no argument that the greatest damage was done to the Kenyan economy between the years 2013 and 2016. 3 short years where Kenya's foreign debt climbed colossally. And this is a huge contributing factor to the situation we face today, where the government is cash-strapped and is forced to make taxation decisions that hurt the people. very badly. Even the ODM party, which is within the handshake, have issued a statement complaining about the drastic increase in petrol prices. Never before in our history, although we have always had corruption, we have always had taxation on petroleum products, but never before in the history of our country have we been faced by a situation like this one, where the government has no option but to tax something which is already overtaxed, knowing very well that it will have a huge negative impact on the people. In the past, even when things have been very tough, the government has had options. This time round, there was no option. And I'm afraid this time round, it is a very dangerous situation we've gotten into as a country. Because what is being done here is stretching people well beyond their limits. And coming at a time when some people are very actively pushing the hustler narrative and telling us it is safe. And indeed the hustler narrative has been created by people who have something to do with our current serious economic troubles. In my view, the combination of those factors, the drastic increase in the price of petrol, coming at a time when the hustler narrative has been spread far and wide, that combination is extremely scary. Indeed, it is also the kind of scenario that could quickly sink the BBI, in my humble opinion. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.